I'm old enough to remember the golden era of JRE, a time when he was shilling pocket pussies, not pandering to billionaires and throwing his friends under the bus to protect his sponsors. You know, the good old days. And what I would give to go back to those times, honestly. When Joe Rogan was selling rubber fuckholes to his fans, as crazy as that sounds, those were the best episodes, the best vibes. That was a time when Joe Rogan truly understood the assignment. He listened, he asked the right questions, and cared about the quality of the content he released to the world. He was an interesting thinker and actually spoke about the things he was thinking about instead of sweeping them under the rug for optics. We're in an era now where it doesn't matter how deep or personal a guest gets with him, he's 100% going to drop the ball. That's as guaranteed as him waking up bald tomorrow. And we're going to see it in this episode. Marcus King is sitting in the chair across from him, and the conversation moves toward mental health. Marcus brings up a chemical imbalance he's taking antidepressants for, and two separate things are about to happen on this episode that would have never happened in the golden era of the pod. Let's see if you can catch them.
That's a journey I'm on. I'm on antidepressants and I want to get off them.
Which one's you on?
I'm on Cymbalta.
What does that one do?
Well,
Is it an SSRI?
yeah. So it basically just kind of it's for a chemical imbalance, But like the best work that I did to combat my depression and anxiety and stuff was microdosing, mushrooms.
Yeah.
Like that's the most progress that I'd seen in my life, and I'm gonna figure out some kind of strategy because, like being on antidepressants and them telling you like, well, don't just stop taking them all at once, or you could have seizures and shit. I'm like, I don't like that. I don't want to be like, enslaved by a drug, by a pharmaceutical drug.
Now, do you remember Marcus telling Joe that he has a chemical imbalance that he's taking medication for? I want you to hold on to that thought. We're going to circle back to that later. Mental health seems to be a recurring theme on the JRE pod lately. I guess it's something a lot of folks are dealing with. Just a few episodes ago, Theo brought up his 20-year battle with SSRIs, and you most likely remember what happened in that episode. It got clipped and went viral all over the internet. Comedy assassin Joe Rogan told your boy Theo he should exercise and come hang out with the hacks at the mothership, as if this was the cure to his problems. Now, I want you to watch and listen to how Joe responds to Marcus, who just opened up about something very personal. Watch for the high level follow up questions and the basic empathy shown to his guest.
Yeah, Theo Vaughn's going through the exact same thing. And last time he was on the podcast, he was explaining it to me. And it freaks me out because I know Theo has had conversations before, like even publicly. He had a Netflix taping, and it didn't go well. It was like they actually they shelved it. They never used it. And there was all these stories from people that were there saying he bombed. I think he just had a kind of a breakdown. And when he was talking to the crowd, and there's a video of it, where he said, the people were shaking. Hey, we still love you. He goes, thank you. Look, I'm trying not to take my own life.
Imagine how sick of podcasting you must be for this to be your response to a guest opening up about their mental health. The road to $1 billion isn't pretty, boys. It's actually getting quite hard to watch at this point, and the complete lack of self awareness is what truly tickles me. Just because you open the comedy mothership doesn't automatically make you a good comedian. It just gives you the opportunity to remain in proximity to comedians so you can keep pretending you're one of the boys. Gossiping about Netflix having to lock Theo's special into the bomb shelter, while your last special is sitting at a 4.3 on IMDb, is fucking comical. Mr. I don't read the comments Joe Rogan might want to reconsider that approach because the comments under that last special all share a very similar outlook. The shit was garbage. And I just wonder, what is Joe's guest thinking while watching a 58-year-old man gossip like a schoolgirl about his buddy to millions of people? Marcus might not realize it now, but there's a trend here, and we're all going to see it play out.
That's what I'm trying to do right now.
Yeah.
And like you hear stuff like that, and you just go like, "Oh, Jesus Christ!" I've known too many people that I didn't think were going to kill themselves and then did. And then he goes down these spirals where he starts talking about world events and freaking out. I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. Like, I got to help this dude. And so I send him things about people getting off of them. And apparently there's some doctors that specialize in getting people off of them. But
What are the chances Joe's billionaire buddies straight up men in blacked him at this point? I mean, come on. Does Joe not remember who he used to be at all? And did he just frame going down spirals on world events as a sign of mental instability? Was Theo talking about a potential moon landing hoax, UFOs and government back engineering, the simulation theory, ancient aliens? Wait, those were Joe's old topics. Theo was just talking about how it's unfortunate kids are being starved and getting blown up in 4K for the world to see. And you know what the cherry on top is here, boys? Joe saying he needs to help Theo. So he sends him info packets or whatever the fuck he's doing. Let's get something straight. This is backhanded solidarity from the playbook of the frenemy. Joe gets to criticize his work, air out his dirty laundry, and question his mental health, then immediately offer help to maintain the status of an ally. It allows Joe to damage Theo's reputation while keeping his hands squeaky clean. Most people just call this being a scumbag, but I thought I would break it down for you. Now that we've got that out of the way, let's look at the recurring theme of the podcast.
here's the thing about that chemical imbalance thing. That's not real. They used to think that that was what these things do, that they treated a chemical imbalance. But then recently, studies have shown that that is not what they do. They don't exactly know what they do. And they kind of numb you in some sort of a way that helps some people. And I've had some friends, and I don't want to make any blanket statements because I've had some friends that were suicidal. Ari's one of them, and he got on SSRIs, and it helped him. He got on. He tried a bunch of different ones, found one that worked, got on track, and then his career started taking off. And then as his career started taking off, he started feeling much better. He was on a good, positive path in his life, and then he slowly weaned himself off of those, and now he's off of them. So I
Take a second and think about the mechanics of this interaction. I told you we were going to circle back. Now we're circling back. Marcus tells Joe he's on medication for a diagnosed chemical imbalance, and shiny top psychiatrist Joe Rogan, PhD in bro science, who previously just prescribed exercise and a mothership hang to Theo Vaughn, tells Marcus his chemical imbalance isn't real. And if you were listening, you caught what he followed it up with in the exact same breath. His friend, Ari Shaffir, called out by name to millions of people as being suicidal, was saved by what? Meta fucking cation and SSRI. Talk about a self defeating contradiction. You can't make this shit up, boys. Joe Rogan is sitting here playing amateur hour doctor, airing out dirty laundry and gossiping about anybody he's had contact with in the last 5 years, while his guest, I would assume, was trying to have an honest conversation about something I can imagine is pretty personal to him. And this is what he has to deal with. Jesus Christ. The gossip counter's at 2. Let's see if there's more.
Probably.
ketamine talk.
Hmm.
Ketamine's a weird one, man.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people that are doing that right now for therapy.
Yeah.
Like Neil Brennan, a comedian, the co-creator of the Chappelle Show, he was the first person to tell me about it because Neil's had depression problems most of his life. And we were in L.A., and he said, we were in the hallway of the Comedy Store. He goes, I've been doing ketamine therapy for depression.
Before this clip, Marcus was talking about doing a little ketamine on a boat. You know, what some guys call a Tuesday afternoon. Now, whether or not Joe is a shitty friend is debatable. I don't know. But what I do know is Joe is currently on episode 2499, which at this point is approximately 312 days of podcasting. And yes, you heard that correctly. Joe has gone back and forth with guests in that exact same chair for 312 days. That's 7,497 hours of podcasting if you average 3 hours per episode. So, I suppose we can understand his lack of attention and inability to ask basic questions any longer. Now, what does Joe do here? Joe proceeds to partake in his new favorite pastime, a little gossip with the boys, and he decides to air out the co creator of The Chappelle Show, Neil Brennan, again by name to millions of people, who's apparently suffered from lifelong depression. Joe's words, not mine. At this point, it's almost like Joe's sitting there with a Rolodex of names, waiting for keywords to pop up in conversation so he can air out their dirty laundry. It's kind of gross. And here's something that might surprise you. All of this happened in a span of 10 minutes, which is fucking wild to think about. I get Joe is most likely sick at doing this podcast, and at least he had the self awareness to realize making grizzly bear noises and scratching at the air wasn't the move when he got bored of hearing Marcus talk about his mental health. But I don't know if shit talking and gossiping about your friends was any better of a play. Anyways, I got a boogie. If you made it this far, I appreciate you. I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.